Yeah, that's right, we're back at Concrete Waves, and today I'm pretty excited because I'm going to take the first board I ever purchased back out for a spin. Now, when I was looking for my first board, I had no idea what I was looking for. I just went on the internet, and for some reason this graphic really spoke to me. The eye was very much the same as my kite board as well, so I thought I'd have a matching pair. And it was luck of the draw. I got on really well with this board. I learned to drop in on it, and also learnt to carve around the bowl, also get the trucks up on the coping for a carve grind. But after that, I spooned out in the deep bowl. It went about 30 foot up in the air, landed on the tail and cracked the corner of the tail off. So I've done a bit of a repair. I've popped a stringer in there and a bit of glue. So I'm hoping this will last out for a session today. I'm intrigued as to how this board will go. I think it's going to be pretty exciting to try all the tricks I've learnt that I couldn't do when I decommissioned this board. I have ridden the Kendall Snake, and that's got the same Cruz Missile 2 concave. So if we offer that up, you can see that it's pretty much the same tail shape. There are a couple of little indents there. I've also got the Winkowski, which has got the Cruz Missile 2 concave. And this one is very much similar. It's got some money bumps here and there and some cutouts, but it's pretty much the same. So I think we're going to be in familiar territory. I really like the Cruz Missile 2 concave. It's got a little lip up there to hold your foot in the pocket, and also another concave here to hold your front foot in. This one's about 10 inches wide. It's got a 15-inch wheelbase. So I'm going to whack some trucks on this. I'm going to use my regular 159 Indy trucks with the 58mm Spitfire wheels. Those are the ones I ride on my Andy Anderson. And the Andy Anderson deck that I usually use is going to be what I'm used to, so I can get a direct comparison between those two decks. If I place the Andy Anderson on top of this, oh my goodness, it's a lot longer, and there's a lot more nose and a lot more tail on that board. It's only 9 inches wide at the widest part. You may also be wondering why I'm not using 169 trucks on a 10-inch board. And I think the 159s work really nicely because this board tapers away where the trucks fit. And also Eric Winkowski uses the 159 trucks on his big 10-inch boards. Anyway, enough of my yakking. Let's pop the trucks on and see how she feels. Okay, so the trucks are on, ready to get in there. I'm going to start out by warming up with a few carving turns. The only thing I could do on this deck before it had its big smash was do a front side carving grind and a backside carving grind. So I'm quite interested to see how this feels dropping in. I'm going to go for the front side carving grind first, see if I can link that to a backside carving grind. Okay, let's pop her out on the coping for the drop and see how she feels. It's a bit of a jaunty angle. Right. See if I can go for a backside. My goodness. That's exactly how I remember it feeling. For some reason it just shot me straight up there, and I was out onto that grind first try. That usually takes me a good few goes on the Andy Anderson deck, but on this one, it must be something to do with the way this board's built, or maybe my muscle memory just kicking in. This is too much fun. I'll have to move on to the 50-50 grinds, but a lot of fun just reliving the old memories of getting carve grinds, trying to push them a little bit higher each time. So I went a bit high that time. See if I can push it back a touch. Make one right up to the old knuckle. Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm going to tear myself away from the fun of the carve grind, see if I can get stood up on the coping. So might try a little 50-50 in, and then see if I can get onto the front side grind in the shallow end. Oh. Okay, front side grind. Oh, first try. Okay, see if I can do a rock fakie. Oh, fakie carve. Oh, a tail stool. These are all never been done on this deck before. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Woo. Oh, I'm having so much fun. First try on all those bits and bobs, and that never happens for me with the Andy Anderson deck. Usually takes a good few tries to warm up and get into it. I think it's the Cruz Missile 2 concave that I love so much, and I think the muscle memory has got that in there because I spent a fair amount of time riding the Kendall Snake and the Winkowski Dope Planet. But I think also the bigger footprint, 10 inches, is inspiring a bit of confidence, and this board definitely turns differently. I was riding the Andy Anderson only the other day, so I've got a really good comparison, and this seems to turn. It must be the way the deck is laminated or something to do with the shape or the wheelbase, but it definitely is easier to turn, suits itself to the pull. So enough of my yakking, I'm going to do a few more front side grinds, get those bedded in, maybe do a few backside 50-50s as well. I reckon the sun could be a bit in the eyes. I'm tempted to go for the fake carve ride. Oh. Yeah, the sun's definitely in the eyes, but sort of going backwards, so blind anyway. Woo. So I found in a couple of runs, I'm right back to where I left off with the Andy Anderson last session. That usually takes a good half an hour to get back to that stage, but my front side 50s, backside 50s, calf grinds are all there, so it's time to up the ante a bit. Also want to try and get a board slide. Oh my gosh. Oh. Almost. One more try and I'll commit to it. It's sliding so nicely. It's a bit grippy. I'm not convinced that I knew what I was doing when I put these rails on right at the start, so they're probably a bit far apart, but that's providing loads of stability on the coping. I think it's just gripping a bit on the board, but I'm gonna hold on and make it work. Oh no, managed to knock a tile out, and then as I came back up, hit the wheel, and it pinged it back up into my hand. What are the chances of that? Okay, that's the board slide back in the bag, and I reckon this is the first time I've ever felt I can make it pretty much every try. This board is sliding so nice and securely. I feel like I can chance my arm and come back in. So the last thing to test out is the nose on this board. Now it has got a little bit more nose than the Kendall and the Winkowski, so I'm going to try just a few fakey rocks, maybe a few nose pivot rocks, just something to get me bringing the back wheels back over the coping. Okay, doing a rock fakie on this board is pretty amusing because when I had it set up before, I could never do them. Okay, let's see how this fakie rock feels on the nose. Oh. Let's go for the nose pivot rock. Whoa! Oh, and as is the Roksopp deck way, everything's first try. It's just one of those days. Final test for the nose, a bit of a nose stall. Oh. There's not an awful lot of nose on there with a pull coping as well. It took me by surprise. Should definitely work though. Okay, how about a fakey pop rock? Okay, that nose works a treat. It's quite thin by modern day standards, but I don't think that matters because as long as I can get my foot there in the pocket, there's enough to bring those back wheels over the pool coping. I'm going to try a few tricks that I usually find a bit more tricky, see if this magic deck is going to help with those. Usually have a bit of trouble with feebles on the pool coping, to see if they're going to work today. Oh! Thank you, front Smith. See if we can trick it. Go for something I'm never going to get first try. Oh. Second try, come on. Oh, that felt so nice on the old school board. Wasn't too bad coming back in. Tail did flex a bit though, oh my goodness. Well, that's it for this video, and oh, that was enormous fun. I think that's the best session I've ever had skateboarding. I never get things first try. Everything's always a bit of a struggle, but on the Roksopp deck, oh my goodness, it all seemed to click together. And I was getting more and more stoked. The special bar was going up and up. So the trucks are staying on this guy. I do need to be a bit careful about this tail. It did flex when I did that sweeper, but I think I'm going to run this into the ground. These Roksopp decks are now pretty pricey on the secondary market, but I've spotted that they're re-releasing them in summer 2025 and the colour looks amazing. So I'm going to save my pennies and hopefully this deck will keep going. I'm also thinking of ordering the new Winkowski deck, which is the second shape he's come out with. It's not quite as extreme as the Dope Planet shape. So perhaps I'll get hold of one of those. It's still got the 15-inch wheelbase and the Cruz Missile 2 concave, which I think is the thing that binds these three boards together and makes them all sort of my favourite. And it also turns a little bit different, and I've got no idea why, but it does turn in a different way that I really like. It spits me up on that coping. I had to sort of tame myself down a bit just to remain inside the coping. Anyway, enough of my yakking. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit subscribe, and you can also follow me on Instagram @JohnBishopSkate. As ever, my name's been John Bishop, and I'm a middle-aged guy learning how to skate.